here in Nigeria, a search is underway for at least 25 girls who were kidnapped from a school in the northwest by armed men on Monday. 2 later escaped. The government says it's mapping out a strategy to ensure the women are rescued. The gunmen invaded the government girls' comprehensive secondary school in Maga town in Kebbi state at dawn. The school's vice principal was killed and another member of staff wounded while trying to protect the girls. The north of Nigeria has seen a surge in mass abductions by armed criminal groups in recent years. School kidnappings, which had once been rare, have become more frequent across the region.
We have come, we have seen things by ourselves, and we see the parent that their children who have been abducted. And we give them confidence, we give them our words that we'll do everything possible to ensure that their children are being rescued. And we also assure them that let them have confidence in us.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Arise Director of News and Political Editor, Sumner Sambo. Good to see you, Sumner. What's the latest on the search? We're hearing that 2 students escaped from their captors. They were not rescued. So the number of students currently missing is 23. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, very correct. Some of our sources actually told us that happened. They just woke up this morning and they saw the 2 girls back home, and they are receiving treatment now in the hospital. And the latest we have is that the Chief of Army Staff is already in Kebbi State, which is in the northwest of the country. He's been meeting with the governor and others to see how they could actually have more support. And you know, this rescue mission has to be tidied up in such a way that we don't have the schoolgirls back dead, so they have to be rescued alive. So I mean, apart from the army, you also have the police and of course civil defense, all cooperating alongside local vigilante groups to help rescue these girls.
And do we know who has abducted these girls? Do we know if they're bandits or terrorists?
Well, they're actually terrorists. Within this axis, you see groups like Lakurawa sect. There's also ISWAP, and then also Boko Haram. Because Kebbi State, you know, is within the theater of operations of the military. So sometimes once the military pushes people, some of these, you know, non-state actors away from Zamfara and all of that, they all, or Sokoto, they all go to Kebbi and all of that. So it could have happened that during this period, they actually intercepted the school children. But the good thing here is that the Governor Nasser Idris, says that there was an intelligence report, credible intelligence report from the Department of State Service, which is like Nigeria Secret Police, that this could happen. And he summoned a security meeting where they held meeting, and they actually sent out even troops to go and safeguard the school, which is in the remote area. But unfortunately, after the troops had left during the evening, that's when, you know, this happened. And so this calls to question the sort of policies that we need right now. One of the policies I think that should be considered is to totally shut down schools in remote areas that are boarding schools.
If you can't protect
them. Yeah, if you can't protect them, especially schoolgirls. Because, I mean, it's always the soft targets.
They're very vulnerable.
Schoolgirls and all of that. And then in rare circumstances, schoolboys will be, you know, kidnapped. But in a situation where adults are also being kidnapped and all of that, I think we really need new policies.
I agree. And if, as you said, these people who took them are more likely to be terrorists than bandits,
yes.
Does that mean they will not be in touch to demand a ransom? Or whatever it is.
Yes, most times they take these girls sometimes to groom them to become their wives and all of that, like it happened with that of Chibok girls. And then, of course, we've seen that for every administration since 2014. We had the Goodluck Jonathan with Chibok, we had Muhammadu Buhari with Dapchi, now we're having the Tinubu with this MAGA and all of that. We don't understand what exactly is happening. So does it mean that for every government that's coming right now, we'll have this sort of situation where non-state actors would want to be pilfering people around and then using them to negotiate with the Nigerian government? So I think the security services should invest more in intelligence gathering, work with the state governments, and then let's have policies that work. Like I said, have policies where if it comes to localities where it's very, hard to reach areas, we don't need boarding schools in those places. I mean, look at the boarding schools, Charles, looking dilapidated, unkempt and all of that. Anyone could have got in there with just a weapon and he will march out a whole lot of people. So the government, both at the local government, state and federal, need to have new policies. Like the Safe Schools Initiative, we're wondering what happened to it. Former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown and others like Okonjo-Iweala, they all set up this fund, and the federal government of Nigeria also invested in it, and it was domiciled in the Ministry of Finance. What has happened to it with all the billions?
That's a good point.
Let's need new policies, both security-wise, in terms of protecting our schoolgirls and boys, and let's make something out of this. Once they are rescued, then we should start thinking of new policies that work.
And the person who was killed was the vice principal of the school, and the person who was wounded was trying to prevent the gunmen from making off with the girls. Do we know his condition?
Well, the principal too is still in the hospital undergoing treatment alongside others who got injured in one way or the other. They actually marched these girls out. So it looks like it was carefully planned. And so that's why we're also wondering why Nigeria is not investing in technologies that could help to see, you know, heat mapping, for example. If that had happened very quickly and the intelligence report went out that they had been kidnapped, they could have been using satellite imagery and all of that to do heat mapping to find out where large numbers of people are gathering at night. And so sometimes, you know, including the Super Tucanos that we brought, which had night vision, you know, instruments and all of that, we are wondering of what importance some of those aircraft had now, because we don't see their use and people keep getting kidnapped, especially within the Northwest region. So lots of questions are being asked. Not only that, a Catholic priest, for example, in the west town of Kaduna has also been kidnapped with a whole lot of people, and his brother was killed. And we keep asking, what is happening?
Those are very good questions, and thank you very much indeed, Sumner. Arise Director of News and Political Editor, Sumner Sambo.